He's making faces at the camera.
There you go.
There I am, live again.
Yes.
We have sound.
And
It's not stereo, but we have sound. Okay.
There.
As I was saying, it is an absolutely beautiful day here today. We had a bit of a nor'easter blow through here yesterday and last night, left us with some bright white snow all over the place. But the wonderful thing about living in the Maritimes is that usually what follows one of those storms is incredibly clear skies, really, really blue. And it is a brilliantly sunny day out there today. It is absolutely gorgeous. And because it was gorgeous, Miss Dot was out first thing this morning with her skis. So she was out running the roads bright and early and wanting to stop and talk with every neighbor. Apparently, they're out snow blowing their driveways. And so Miss Dot wanted to socialize this morning. I did not want to socialize this morning. I just wanted my tea and snuggle into my cozy sweater and admire the beautiful sky from indoors because I am not a snow bunny. I don't play in the snow. I go out in the snow when it's necessary. But I do love it though. I do love the snow. So hopefully you guys have been having a better week. I know the usual, the pandemic thing seems to be the top of the list again. So hopefully everybody is, following the appropriate means of protecting themselves and keeping themselves safe, because that's the most important thing. You might have noticed Renee made some changes to the screen. He's been playing with software again. So you might notice the pretty little border. And I really like the cover shot, though. Like the lead in was quite nice. I like that. Not super keen on all the animated butterflies, but it's whatever. But you might notice that down at the bottom of the screen, some names pop up. So he has it set so that anybody that likes the stream, your name's going to pop up on the screen. Anybody that subscribes to the channel is going to pop up on the screen. And I think it's just a fun addition. It'll be a neat thing to do. We had to make a couple of changes to the camera so that we got decent color. My hair is very, very poofy today, I just noticed. It's poofy. And it still looks like a steel helmet, though. But it is what it is.
I didn't color correct that camera.
Okay. That would explain it. But it doesn't look too, well, at least it's not purple. I don't have purple hair today. So I am snuggling up to my teacup today, though. I've, for whatever reason, I have a little bit of asthma, and it's been acting up the last couple of days. So, I'll beg your pardon now, because I am going to be clearing my throat and coughing every once in a while. But aside from, minor irritation, I'm fine. I don't go anywhere, so it's not like I could catch anything.
So it's the latest subscriber to the YouTube channel.
Oh,
the
cool.
Latest follower to your Facebook.
Oh, that's how it is. Okay. So the latest follower to the Facebook page and the latest subscriber to the channel. There. Okay. That's kind of cool. I think it's kind of neat. Anyway.
Then the alerts, of course. Today.
Oh, yeah. Some cool little alerts. He's been playing the software that we're using for these lives has all kinds of little tools. Every time they update it, there's some new little tool or gadget or gizmo that they add to it. And
I play with it.
Then he has to go play with it. So if you see something you like, or if you find something annoying, please let us know.
I can get rid of it.
We can get rid of it too. You see Ann Harrison's name popped up there. That's so cool. I think that's pretty cool. Anyway, so today we're going to be painting bold tulips. Now this one, I chose this one for a reason. My membership group is doing backgrounds. And I think I've scared them a little bit. They got part 1 last week. They'll be getting part 2 this weekend. Part 2 comes up. They'll also have a new video this weekend. And we're doing backgrounds, interesting and elaborate, simple, all sorts of different types of backgrounds for them. I chose this one because this is one of my favorite backgrounds. It's super easy. just, I know it looks over the top, but honestly, it's super easy. All you need is piece of gift wrap that you like, a napkin you like, the pattern you like. The only thing I would say is that try to find something that's going to work with, as far as color goes, work with whatever you're painting. So today we're going to paint a white tulip. Because we painted butterflies last week and they were, all kinds of oranges and reds. I thought today we're going to do a white tulip, which means we're going to work on a background that's got a little bit of sort of a tealish blue in the back. And this one is actually a photocopy of a piece of wrapping paper, if I'm not mistaken. And it's quite a pretty one. It's got a nice little sort of distressed floral background, a little bit of script. It's a simple paper. And I think that this is going to work really, really well. But you can use almost anything. So if you're going to be using something lightweight like a tissue paper or napkins, make sure that you base coat your surface first with a similar color. I usually go with a light buttermilk because it's that nice medium. It's not a snow white and it's not a yellow. It's just in the middle. So it's a great neutral for that type of thing. So we're going to do this paper background. It's super easy.
There was a filter on you.
There was a filter on me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So now, now we're back to the purple hair.
You're welcome.
So some things I like, some things not so much. There was a filter. Okay. It still looks like a steel helmet, though. So we're going to do this really simple paper background. And then I'm going to show you how to age the edges a little bit. We do have a little stenciling to do. The stencil that I originally used is no longer available. However, that doesn't really matter. You can use almost any stencil you want for this type of thing. It depends entirely on your personal taste. I have no shortage of stencils, so I'm pretty sure I can find something that's going to work perfectly for this. So if
How about wallpaper?
Wallpaper might be a little heavy. But it depends on the wallpaper. Like vinyl might be hard to paint on. But I don't know. Oh, there's all kinds of things. I mean, you could use dictionary pages if you wanted to. That's the nice thing about this, is that you can utilize almost anything that you already have on hand. So I happen to have a envelope or a binder full of paper like this. So I decided that's what I'm going to use. And I have everything else I need. So if you are ready to get started, so am I.
Yeah, right. Let's rock and roll.
So we have good.
And we're upside down.
Are we upside down? Of course we are.
There we go.
Oh, I just saw the transition page. It flutterbys everywhere.
Flutterbys and roses.
So this is the paper that we're going to use. I really love this.
Push it forward.
The color in this. It's a little bit.
Push it forward. Push it forward. There you go.
Okay. He's usually telling me I can pull it. Get it closer to yourself. Now it's farther
Yeah,
away.
I adjusted the camera so you didn't have to bring it so close.
Okay. So we're going to use this paper. I have a couple of tools when you're working with paper like this. Something that's really handy to have is this is just a little spray bottle, spritz bottle full of water. And your mini brayer.
Why did you copy the wrapping paper? Could you just use wrapping paper?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The reason I copied it was I was teaching this piece and then, but was unable to get enough of the wrapping paper for a whole class. So, so I just photocopied it. Probably not the kosher thing to do, but it was wrapping paper. But if I'm not mistaken, I've seen something like this in like at scrapbook stores. Scrapbook paper is a great way to do backgrounds. So, but this one I thought it was just pretty. I think it's wrapping paper. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, this one, I'm working on an 8.5 by 11 or an 8 by 10 panel for this. I think that this is the ideal. I have one light coat of sealer on this. But ideally a base coat, but because this paper is so opaque, I'm not going to worry too much about the base coat. Now, to adhere this paper, I'm going to be using Decor. It's matte medium. You can use decoupage medium in a matte finish. And I always say a matte finish because, quite honestly, matte is easier to transfer onto than any other. You don't want it to be too shiny or too slick. So I'm putting a generous coat of matte medium onto the background, onto the surface. Now, the reason that I sealed this first was just so that I'm not having to put 10 pounds of this stuff on, and it's not getting all drunk up by the background. So,
Can you apply this to a canvas?
yes, absolutely. I just like working on these art panels there. Don't have so much fighting against the surface. So I've got a generous coat, and then I'm going to take that little spray bomb and I'm going to lightly mist the paper on the back. I just want this paper damp. I don't want it dripping wet. And then I'm going to mist the front as well. So the paper is going to get soft and a little flexible, you see? And then I'm going to drop the paper in onto the surface, like so.
I photocopied tissue wrap from the last week to put on a phone stand. I just don't want to have to keep buying tissue wrap. Fair enough.
And then I'm going to use a brayer to really make sure that that paper is seated in that matte medium. Just so it's in there nice and firm.
How thick is the wood and where did you get it?
These art panels, I have these on the website. These are just a simple artist's cradle. These ones are from Multicraft. But you can find surfaces like this at your local dollar store. I know that we have them here in Canada at the Dollarama. You can also find them at the Great Canadian Dollar Store. Most of the dollar stores now have a craft section, and these types of art panels are available there. They're relatively inexpensive. Most of the time they're under $5, so they're not a bad surface. But a piece of MDF will work, a piece of plywood will work. It doesn't have to be anything super expensive or elaborate. So that is in there nice and firm. I like spritzing this with water first because it helps prevent this paper from bubbling and buckling and rippling. And so you run the less of a risk getting bubbles and ripples and folds in your paper. When paper gets wet, it stretches. And if I were to just lay this dry paper into that matte medium, it would do all kinds of weird things. It would buckle and ripple, and this, by moistening the paper, doesn't have to be soaking wet, but just moistening the paper, it allows it some flexibility, and then it doesn't do those nasty things. So I'm going to, I just realized I got that all buggered, but it's okay.
There we go.
I've got one of these sanding discs, and I'm going to remove the excess paper by sanding the edge down and away, like that.
Security light.
I'm going to, there we go. This was not working for me today. There we go. This just gives you a nice clean edge. And this paper is thick, so I'm having to sand a little more aggressively to get through it. There we go. Good grief. not cooperating today. There we are.
There we got all the names from Facebook in there.
Renee is collecting names for the wheel.
And I need all the names from YouTube.
So there. So now I've got, you notice my paper went on a little bit crooked, so I've got a little bit of that white border on there, but by the time we're done, you'll never see it anyway. So now I've got a nice clean edge, paper is off, and I'm going to put a light coat of the matte medium over top of the paper. And this gives you a chance to really seal down those edges as well, so that you don't have paper lifting off at a time when it's most inopportune. So nice light coat of that matte medium over top of the paper. This is just a super easy way to create a background, and it's so pretty. The best part about this is that you can make a completely unique background. So you could stop right here and you've got a great background. Of course, we're not going to do that because we're going to do some more fun stuff.
I need all the YouTube people to just say hi in the chat.
Yep. If you're on the YouTube, watching this on YouTube, just put a hi in the chat bar there so he can collect all the names for the drawing.
For some reason, only the names that chat are appearing. And I got all the people who like Facebook.
Yeah, if you want to get entered in those drawings, you've got to hit the like button on either YouTube or on Facebook, on the Facebook page. Hit that like button so that we can add you to the list. And we have actually 3 nice giveaways today. We have a nice little 4-brush set of Dynasty Micron. So, yeah, there's some really nice... There it goes. I love it. And I've been getting messages from some of you the last couple of days that your pins, the membership pins, have been arriving. So that was really nice to see the mail. And some of the giveaways from our 12 Days of Christmas are just arriving now.
Really?
Really. So it's just, the mail has been so slow. But Sheila Landry messaged me yesterday. I mean, she's just literally no more than, 5 hours away at the most. If we take the highway, 2 hours if we use the ferry. And she just got hers. She's 1 province over. So, yeah, mail has been very wonky, and so it's taking time. But, yep, all the membership pins have gone out. Of course, that list is there's going to be more go out this month because the...
I have 158 names.
Nice! That's it? Oh, we can do better.
Well, there's 98 from YouTube. And then...
There we go.
63 from Facebook.
Nice. So this background, super simple. I mean, it doesn't get any easier, really. It makes for some interest, gives you lots of pattern and depth, and it also helps you with selecting a color palette. So when we do this white tulip, some of the colors that are in the tulip are also in this background. So it ties to our floral quite nicely. So keep that in mind when you're doing a piece like this, that if the tulip or the flower that you have has touches of pink or light touches of blue or whatever color that you pick out of it, try to make sure that whatever background you put in has a little bit of that so that those 2 elements tie together.
Oops. Yeah, there's Everybody can see the wheel now. Did not mean to do that.
There it is. Oh, wow. That's cool. So now you guys will be able to see the wheel. So he literally takes all the names from the Facebook page, from the YouTube channel, anybody that's watching or liking, and then he can spin it so you guys can actually see how we draw these names. So we don't have a whole bunch of paper in a hat box. We use the spinner thingy, I call it.
Here, let's spin it.
You gonna spin it? You might as well give one away.
Yeah.
I just think that this is a cool thing that we have this ability to do this. So
there's the winner.
and the name is going to pop up right in the middle of the screen too, which I think is cool. Lori C. Cool. I don't know who Lori C is. So Lori, go to the homepage at tracymoreau.net. Click on the little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner of the screen and send us your shipping information so that we can get your 4-brush set of Dynasty Microns out to you. Very cool. I like that they can see that now.
And we also get to see all the ads that pop up.
Oh, joy.
Sorry. That's what you get for free stuff.
That's what you get for free. Yeah, you know, everything has its price, right?
What is it, Lori C?
Lori C.
Lori. And I will continue be adding names to it. So
yeah.
The more likes, if there's an update, I'll add.
Nelda Sanders, her name just popped up on here. Nelda, you have a prize sitting here from last week, and I cannot find your shipping information anywhere. So if you could click on the speech bubble on the front page of my website and send me your shipping information, I'd appreciate it. I apologize if you've already sent it, but it may be under a different name. I'm finding that some people are using maiden names or nicknames or whatever for Facebook and YouTube, and they don't match up with their email. So that makes it a little problematic for us. But yeah, so Nelda, just fire me off an email, a quick message with your shipping info so I can get your brushes out to you. We have a couple of those in the last little while, so we want to make sure that everybody gets what's supposed to come to them. So I'm going to mix up myself a high-tech applicator. And I'm going to use 2 pieces of shop towel for this. I'm going to crumple one. And I'm going to tuck it inside the other one. And voila, a high-tech applicator.
154.
Move my teacup. And I'm going to bring my palette over here a little bit. So I'm working with a little bit of asphaltum. I know you're very surprised by that. I'm going to get my applicator wet. I've just got a little bit of water in it. And I'm going to pick up a small amount of asphaltum on that high-tech applicator. And I'm going to take this color out to the edges a little bit. I just want to age the edges just a little. Besides, I like how this looks. It just gives this papered finish a nice little aged appearance. If you're not comfortable using an applicator or shop towel to do this, by all means, just float around the edges. I just find this gives it a more rustic appearance, and I find it's easier to control the color this way. So I'm just working in a circular fashion. I change directions. And it also gives a little age to the edges of the paper, which appeals to me. You know, that raw edge where we sanded. See?
That is not cool. Wow. And LD's got it figured out.
Who's LD?
LD Matt.
Okay. Oh.
She's watching both of YouTube and Facebook. I don't know if I should put you in there twice. You're sneaky.
Clever. So I've just aged the edges of my paper a little bit.
Where's Bob? Did he get eaten?
No, Bob is right here. Bob never goes too far.
Oh, I haven't seen the Facebook. Can't get Dash Baltum here, so is there any other color we can use?
Yes, you can use a little bit of burnt umber. Just be careful with it, because it is a strong color. But yes, just thin it out. A little bit of burnt umber will work just fine.
And shuffle, shuffle, shuffle.
So, there we go. I really like how this ages. I think there's a filter on this thing again.
Oh, not today. How did you share it on Facebook?
Twice in 20 minutes. Are we back yet?
Yeah, we have audio now.
Okay, good.
High-tech applicator, yes.
Yep. Yep. No, you're starting me off again?
Yes.
Okay. So, high-tech applicator. You can use a brush to do this. I'm going to kill him one of these days.
I don't have life insurance. Oh, no, I still have Sissa.
Yep. So there we go. We have our nice little background in. Now you can get elaborate with this if you really want to, or you can keep it simple. I'm going to use this one. I like this elegant corner stencil. This is the one I'm going to use. Now, there's nothing to say it actually has to fit exactly in the corner. Just saying. If you wanted to have more of an irregular feel or something a little less structured, let's try this. Kind of like this idea. So I'm going to put a little piece of tape in here, maybe, if I can find my tape. There it is.
Apparently you can't kill me. They like them.
Oh, yeah? I have to keep you? Is that what I'm saying?
Yeah. Can't kill them, Tracy. We like them.
My grocery bill would drop drastically.
Just bought that one? Edward.
Oh. So I'm just going to put that one in place. I kind of like this idea. So little piece of painter's tape to hold that in place. And I'm going to use, now in the original pattern, I used a little bit of copper and I used a little bit of gold. So that's what I'm going to do with this.
It's freezing in Ontario? Yeah, I bet it's cold. Oh, are you talking about the stream? Nothing I can do about that. The weather we've been having. That's not even paint.
No. It needs a good shaking. I haven't used this one in a while.
That's just acrylic binder.
Yep, I know. Here we go. That's acrylic paint.
Oh. Okay.
And And use a little bit of gold.
Those watching on YouTube, do not click that link that the relic person just put up there. Get rid of it. He's going to be gone in a second.
So I'm going to use a little bit of, I've got some 24 karat gold here. So I'm going to stencil with a little bit of the 24 karat. Circular fashion, change directions frequently.
What color is that? It's beautiful.
It's 24 karat gold. I love this color. I think it's one of my favorite in the ones I'm using are the Extreme Sheen. This is just such a beautiful metallic. The Extreme Sheens, I just love them. So I'm going to dry this real quick. Just going to set it so I don't mess it up again. And then I'm going to take a little bit of, is this copper? No, it's not. It's rose gold. Rose gold molder. It'll work.
I don't know what it is. Oops, excuse me.
Well, I thought it was a little light for copper. So I'm just pulling a little of that rose gold in a few spots. I'm not putting it everywhere. Just a little bit here and there. So
you can't pause a Facebook Live.
No.
Okay, so there's...
Ooh, I like that.
Roughly 216 people watching.
Nice. So I've got one there. I'm going to put one more in. I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter. Just like that. And I'll grab a little bit of gold.
Love the Extreme Sheens.
The Extreme Sheens, one, they have a great pigmentation.
Yep, Sheila's here.
Coverage is nice.
Sheila's here.
So, and then I'm just repeating that with a little bit of that rose gold. Ooh, pretty. Uh-oh. I caught a little bit of my paper.
Hello from California.
Hello, California.
Do you have the stencil in your shop?
Yes, we do have it. If you're looking for the item number, it is M263. Right there, called Elegant Corners.
And I got a bunch.
Yep.
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch. Okay, well, good to know. So this is one of the reasons that I love the Extreme Sheen is look at that pop. I just love how these colors sparkle.
At angles.
Yep. I love that it's a little on the transparent side when you stencil with it, that you get lots of flash, lots of sparkle out of it. I love that.
Janet Mills, I'm glad you pushed those sleeves up. She's going to get paint on those sleeves regardless if they're rolled up or not. Just to let you know.
This sweater has got to be at least 10 years old.
It's probably got more paint in it than on a surface.
It's, this. Keep some of this handy. I use this stuff to take stains out of my sweaters.
My mother's new favorite perfume is brush cleaner.
Yeah. That's closer to the truth than you know. Smart alecky brat. So I really liked this up here, but I think it needs a little bit of balance. So I'm going to pull it down here and do the same thing. Just because I can. There's no rules, really.
Paint is holding it together.
Yeah, I got a funny feeling. Yeah. I have a couple of my favorite, studio sweaters that are like that. They're just the only thing, the reason they don't fall apart in the wash is because there's so much paint in them. So I'm going a little bit of gold and a little bit of rose gold.
I'm glad to know that I'm not the only one who has paint in every item of clothing.
No. There's not a painter out there worth her salt that doesn't have paint on everything.
Or everywhere.
Or everywhere.
It's even in the cat.
Yes. Sadly, even the cat is color-coded. That's because she walked across my palette.
That's what you get for leaving out a wet palette. Pop prints.
Yep.
Sometimes gold, sometimes asphaltum, sometimes bright yellow, red,
Warm white.
white.
Warm white. Yeah. Soot's left her mark in more than one place around this house.
This is also a cat who drinks out of your...
She drinks out of my water dish. I've tried so hard. I have tried everything. I've tried putting vinegar in the water to get her to stop doing that. She still drinks it.
Got a cast iron stomach, yet throws everything up.
Yeah, it's just bulimic. Oh, I love this. Love it. I love it. I love that it's...
It has a bright orange tail now.
Dot's about the only one in the house that hasn't.
She keeps herself relatively clean.
It's because she stays off my painting table.
Well, believe me, if she got up on the table, you'd know it.
I know.
85 pounds of her going onto a table would be kind of funny.
Now, the fun part about this metallic is if you really wanted to amp this up a bit, it would be really easy to do. But I just love how this looks. It's just a fun way to build a background. You notice that I'm keeping this area fairly open. And I'm doing that for a reason, because the bulk of our design is going to be right here. And so I want this to be kind of a highlight for our piece. So there we go. So what do you think so far? Isn't that pretty?
My kitten puts her toys in the water dish.
We had a cat that used to like to drop things into water dishes. Remember Gizmo in the fish tank?
Oh yeah, he'd take kibble all the way from his bowl.
Yep. He would take his dry cat food out of his bowl, walk across the living room, jump up onto the cabinet, and then drop the kibble into the fish tank. And I'm trying to figure out if he just liked his kibble soft or if he was trying to bait the fish. I'm not sure which.
Miss LT Matt is... Nope. Yeah, you're not on Facebook anymore. We got you.
So I have my line drawing here. I'm going to trim it down a little bit because it's a bit much. Too much
I
paper.
have no good clothes. They're all pink stained.
Then they're all good clothes. Define good clothes. Even most of my business wear has paint. Keeps doing that.
I don't know.
Okay.
What if we did that? Down next to mono? No. No, we're not doing that. Good.
There we go. Excellent. So,
There.
have we got sound back? Yep, it says back.
Difference between Mod Podge and...
The difference between Mod Podge and matte medium. Mod Podge is strictly a sealer and an adhesive. Matte medium is actually not originally intended as an adhesive, although it can be used as one. Matte medium is intended as a flattening agent. So essentially you can take a paint with a higher sheen, and by adding a matte medium to it, flatten out the sheen level. That's what matte medium was intended for. So although it has great adhesive qualities and it has great sealing qualities, its primary function is to flatten out paint.
You gotta figure out what's going on there.
So I'm using just a little bit of gray graphite underneath this. And I'm going to do a quick little test to make sure that it's transferring on this surface. I need to grab where's my red pen?
Do you want one?
I'm just putting a little check mark down the corner here just to, and yes, I've got a check mark down the corner. This will easily erase, but I wanted to make sure that it's going to transfer onto this. Sometimes when the paper is still damp, it's very difficult to transfer an image on, but in this case, it seems to be working. So I'm using my red tracing pen to trace my line drawing, and I'm using firm pressure.
Did we lose people from Facebook? Is the rose gold a sheen?
The rose gold is a metallic. It is actually a paint color in the extreme sheen. Yep.
Was it more difficult to adhere paper to canvas?
No, it isn't. It's actually about the same. The one thing I would recommend that if you're going to do this on a canvas, give yourself a little bit of a leg up and put something firm and flat underneath it, whether it's a couple of magazines or a book or something that's rigid underneath, so that when you use the brayer or whatever you're using to make sure that the paper is nice and flat, that you have something to work against. It's frustrating when you're working against the canvas because it flexes. So just to give yourself a little bit of a leg up, put something firm underneath the canvas, whether it's a stack of magazines, a book, an art panel, a piece of plywood, whatever you have on hand, just to give it some rigidity so that you're not fighting against it.
Oh, she can't claim that tip as her own using the red pen?
No, I cannot. No, this is a good friend. Carol Manhart had suggested that, and I went, that's brilliant. One of those forehead slapping, why didn't I think of that ideas? But yes, works like a hot day. Because you can see where you've been. There's nothing more frustrating than taking your line drawing off and then realizing that you missed a few spots. So with that red pen, makes it easier to see where you've been and if you've missed anything. And I think I have everything there.
A few extra layers of gesso before applying paper helps on canvas.
Absolutely. A coat of white paint, a good coat of gesso, never a bad idea. So here's our butterfly. Now when I'm tracing this, I am tracing all of these little details in the wings at the same time because I hate retracing anything. So I'm making sure that all of those details are in here. And I kind of paint butterflies backwards. Most people paint them black and then base coat all these white bits. I'm too lazy to do that. So I do all my colored bits first, and then I paint all my black stuff in. So that it gives me the ability to clean up things a little bit. I really detest having to retrace things. It just drives me bananas.
Sorry, I missed the first part. Are you working on wood?
I am working on a artist's cradle or cradled panel, and it's a wood canvas basically. But this can easily be done on almost anything, really. You could do this on watercolor paper. You could do this on wood, canvas, piece of plywood, sheet of MDF, whatever you happen to have on hand. This is the nice thing about working with this type of technique, is that it's very, very versatile.
Oh, here we go. Bought a piece of wood from Hobby Lobby,
Yep.
and the paint was beading up on it.
Okay. That's an incompatibility issue.
Is there anything I can do to prep it?
Absolutely. Take that sucker out to the garage or out onto the porch and hit it with about 3 coats of matte spray over top of it. Give it a light sanding beforehand so that you open up the surface a little. But
Looks like all the Americanas are acrylic based, right?
yes, they are.
Okay.
And I'm suggesting a matte medium just to give it a little bit of tooth. And then try putting and rolling, not brushing, but rolling on a light coat of gesso over top of it. And that should take care of that problem.
What would cause acrylic to bead?
Usually an oil base. So there's might be an oil base sealer or something like that on top of it. I actually got a couple of wood cradles from one of the dollar stores one time that came unpackaged. Most of them come in a shrink wrap now, but it came unpackaged, and it had a almost like a wax or an oil, like silicone type spray on the outside of it. And try as I might, I couldn't get anything to stick to it. So I sanded it, took it out in the garage, and I put like 4 coats of matte spray over top of it, let it dry overnight, rolled on a coat of
raw wood then.
It could have been rubber wood. You see a lot of that these days. But whatever they had sealed it with, it was impervious to anything with a water base. But once I got the matte spray on there and it sealed up, I had no trouble getting paint to stick to it.
Where can I get the surface you're working on?
What I'm working on is just a wood cradle. It's an 8x10. You can find these at Hobby Lobby. Most of the art stores have them. I know Michael's has them.
Dollar stores?
Dollar stores have them. I mean, they're cheap like borscht at the dollar stores. So I got my butterfly all traced out. I'm just going to check my tracing.
Rubber wood, never heard of that. Yeah, rubber wood's a thing.
Yeah, rubber wood is a thing, and you see it a lot these days in furniture.
Yeah.
Because it's a pretty fast-growing tree, so it's a fairly renewable resource.
And it doesn't oxidize.
It doesn't oxidize, and it's extremely hard.
Yeah. It's actually what they make rubber out of.
Yeah. Well, they make rubber out of the sap, but the tree itself, the wood from the tree itself, makes great furniture. Balsa is that super lightweight, flimsy stuff that you see most of the birdhouses and things like that in craft stores are made out of balsa.
Rubber wood is
cheap, plentiful, and very hard.
But easy to work with.
So, well, I shouldn't say hard, tight-grained. That's the word I was thinking of. Okay, so I think my butterfly is looking pretty good. I got my tulip on there. So we are ready to go.
Yeah. They'll gum up a sander pretty good too.
Yeah.
Can we see what kind of matte spray you use?
Absolutely.
You got a can of the...
Do I have a can of matte spray?
Yeah. Never mind.
Did you forget who you were talking to?
Is rubber wood from our butter tree?
It is.
Yeah. No, they actually used it for anything.
Yep. Yeah. So this is the one that I use. This is the Decor matte spray. I get this one in the matte finish. You can also get this spray in a gloss and in a semi-gloss, but I use the matte spray for everything. I like how this seals paint. I like how it just puts on a nice light coat. And I really like that I don't get a high sheen out of it. So it makes it ideal for photography, for taking pictures and whatnot. This is a really great spray. I use this on 90% of my painted pieces before I varnish. So I seal everything in once I'm finished with just a couple of light coats. And by light coats, I hold this thing back about 12 to 14 inches before I spray. I shake it really, really well so that you avoid any fogging or discoloration. Make sure you shake it very well. But this is perhaps one of my favorite spray finishes. It does, like most sprays, it stinks to high heaven. So make sure you're in a well-ventilated area when you use it. That's why I take it out to the garage or take it out onto the porch. Because, yeah, this stuff, whew, nasty.
Yeah.
Has a nasty smell, but I mean, Krylon makes one equally nasty. I mean, most of these solvent-based sprays all have that just, wow, they stink to high heaven. And that's mainly due to the chemical in it that helps it spray out. So, yeah, great product though.
Do you spray then varnish?
Yes. I prefer to put a light coat of spray down before I varnish things because I use so many different media. I use ink, I use stamping, I use a variety of things. And this just gives me a nice uniform finish to put my varnish over top of.
And what varnish do you use?
My varnish, I use Decor's Ultra Matte.
Ultra Matte.
And if I'm out of Ultra Matte, then I use Decor's Soft Touch.
Oh, there you go.
Those are my two favorite varnishes. Unless I want it to really be sparkly, and then I use Decor's Duraclear Galaxy Varnish.
A little off topic. Dot looks great on her snow skis. You see her navigating the snow.
She does love the snow.
She doesn't need the skis to go in the snow.
No, the other day she was pulling donuts in the backyard with nothing. No wheels, no nothing. She was just having a field day out there.
Nothing slows that dog down.
Nope. Well, it might slow her down, but it doesn't stop her.
Well, no. A full stomach slows her down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because she has to have a nap after she eats.
Yeah. Okay, she's a silky baby, that one. So we are ready to get started on our tulip.
Tulip?
On our tulip. And we're going to start.
Do the butterfly first, or do you want?
Well, I got to get the base coat in on that tulip. So
There.
we'll do that first, and then we'll move into doing our butterfly. I'm going to start with a little bit of warm white.
Do you use the just the spray sometimes?
Yes, sometimes I do. Mostly for mixed media. I don't always varnish my mixed media because there's too many things in them. And especially if it's got stuff, snowflakes and whatnot attached to it.
Oh,
What?
you don't have an affiliate link for that spray, do you?
No, it's available on Decor.com. Yeah.
I should get you an affiliate link for that.
Oh, I have one. I just always forget about it. Okay.
Or wait, does Sandy sell it?
No, I don't think so. Oh, Decor.com. Chris Hoy, I think, has it. Cover Distributing has
Oh,
it.
there you go.
If you're Canadian, Stockade. .ca or Country Bear, both of those will stock it. I know Country Bear stocks it because they're a Decor distributor.
We can all learn from dogs to enjoy the little things in life.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing I learned from my dog, especially with the way she is now, don't play with other dogs. Because you end up breaking your back.
So I'm just filling in this tulip with warm white.
Don't roll in ditches.
Don't roll in ditches. I don't care who you are, but that's good advice.
Yeah, don't roll in ditches. You roll in ditches, you hurt your back, and you lose the use of your hind legs. What happens?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is good coffee. French pressed coffee.
Well, you're going to be drinking fresh pressed coffee for a while because the new Keurig isn't going to be here till later this week. December was the month that
everything died.
Everything died.
Let's try this one. How's this microphone?
How's that?
That's quiet. Is it quiet?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's too quiet.
We are still trying to figure out why we're having an issue.
How about this one?
Do we have sound now? Do we have sound? Back. Janet, sweetheart, thank you for letting us know.
There.
Janet pops up on the feed there. You're back.
There we go.
So as I do with most things, you'll notice that I'm leaving a very narrow line between each of the shapes.
Ooh, you were loud on that one.
It's because I don't like tracing things on again. Call it laziness, call it whatever, but I just don't like it.
I have 3 microphones to choose from. This is the best one, but it's the one that's cutting out all the time.
Oh, for goodness sake.
So, sorry.
We still don't know why it's doing that.
I have no clue. I thought this would solve it.
Yeah,
It obviously
apparently not.
Didn't.
I think it's a problem with the actual.
Well, they're not meant to be. They're great cameras,
Yeah,
so they put a cheap microphone in.
yeah.
So we have great picture, great this, great that, but
Lousy sound.
we're gonna cheap out on sound. So I think after today, I'm gonna go find.
We're gonna get a new mic.
I'm gonna get a new dynamic microphone.
Yeah.
So that way we only have to buy one microphone, and we're not looking like Joe Rogan podcast here.
Yeah. So I'm using warm white for this base. And you'll notice that I am following the shape. What in Sam Hill have I got here?
Stray.
I like to fill in the shape in the direction that that shape bends, if that makes any sense. And this is just a base, so it's not going to be super pretty. I can promise you that. So the drawings today, we have 3 sets of Dynasty Micron. That's those detail brushes that I like to use. There's a set of 4 brushes in each one of them, in each one of the giveaways. I absolutely love my Micron, especially my long liners. But we've got some really fun stuff in that set. We've got the mini fans. Some of you are getting a liner brush or a detail brush. There's some really nice brushes in there. And membership, guys. I think you're going to want to definitely be at the live class on the 25th because have I got a prize for you guys? Oh my God. For the last class, we had that gorgeous little brush case with the set of, I think it was black gold brushes in it. And this month, we've got 3 more of those to give away during our live class. And they've got a 9 brush set of Dynasty Faux Squirrel. They're gorgeous sets. So we have 3 of those as the prize giveaway for the membership live class on the 25th. Apropos, January is my birthday month. And so I wanted something really special for that day. My birthday actually lands on the 26th. And so I wanted something really special. So we have a gorgeous, gorgeous set of faux squirrel brushes. So it's 9 pieces plus the case. It's an awesome giveaway. So I was so excited about that. And again, what we do for the live class, if you are not able to attend, if you can't be there, don't worry, you're still getting entered. We take the entire membership list and we put that into the wheel so that everybody has a chance to win, whether they can be there or not. So that's what I like. So I know there is Happy Mail coming to all the members. Your membership pins are on the way. So if you've been a member of 6 months or more, you've got a pin coming. And of course, we always tuck little other things in the envelope. So, you might get a brush, you might get a pen, there's always something else in there. But, yeah, I know over the holidays, through the month of December and over the holidays, I packed, 150 envelopes for our members. In and amongst all of the orders that we were packing too. So it was a busy month, December. But they have since all gone out. And now I get to start on all of the ones that are...
There's Deb.
There's Deb. She's caffeinated then.
She's caffeinated?
Yeah. It's Deb. So... And then we have more members this month that are hitting their 6-month milestone, so we have to pack those and get those out. So it's been busy. So I've got my warm white in, and I'm going to take that over to my butterfly. I'm not too worried about getting these absolutely perfect because there's 3 different colors going over top of them.
And Sheila's asking, was it the 26th?
My birthday's the 26th. The class is on the 25th. So the sale that is up right now, that one will run until Monday.
Is there a pattern for the class on the 25th? Should be.
There will be. You're getting, the members are getting their part 2 goes up today. And their new video goes up sometime this weekend as soon as we're finished with it. And then they have a pattern coming up again next week. So essentially they're getting 4 and then they're going to get they'll have another project to do. So is going to be a busy month for my members.
So you only did 2 coats on the bottom petals?
Yep. I'm waiting for the rest of this to dry because I was just taking off more paint than I was putting on.
Oh. Unfortunately, the credit card I used for my membership was compromised. I forgot to apply the new number to my account, so I missed, I think, a couple months. Idiots in this world.
Yes, sadly, there's a whole bunch of them out there. They'd much rather steal from hardworking people than do anything themselves. They put more, if they put half the amount of effort into an honest job that they put into the dishonest one, they'd be millionaires. Okay, so I know. Doesn't he look messy with all that white in there? I'm gonna dry that real quick. Now, I love working with warm white, and I very rarely use more than 2 coats because, quite honestly, you really don't need to, especially because you're adding so many shading colors, highlighting colors, tinting colors to it. It really doesn't matter.
Have you done tutorials for the ink packet you saw on your website?
Yes, a large portion of those patterns that are available on my website, we have video for.
Yeah. Go to YouTube.
Yep.
Search Tracy Moreau. You'll know which one to click.
We've done 60.
There's at least
60.
There's at least 65 patterns on our website that have a video on the YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Now, some of those patterns you can buy, but you won't have access to the video because they are
Yeah.
exclusive to the members.
Yeah.
But the pattern for this one is available on our website,
Yep.
and this video will be
Available
till
whenever.
till the channel closes, which will be a long time.
Hopefully.
Oh, I'm gonna memorialize it.
Oh, are you okay?
You're welcome. Thinking ahead.
Or planning.
Planning ahead.
Or just planning.
No, I'm not planning.
It's okay.
Truer words have never been spoken. Hackers. Not saying anything.
Mm-hmm.
I like to consider myself a gray hat. Not a black hat or a white hat. I'm a gray hat. I don't go stealing credit card numbers or compromising websites. That's just
Wrong.
there's no benefit.
So I've got a little bit of Joe Sonia's in my brush. I wanted to show you this trick. Now, I always leave a gap between each of the segments of my designs. And then I put that white in.
Till the channel closes, don't scare us, Renee.
And then I will take a little bit of thinned warm white with that Joe Sonia's Fast Dry Glaze. And I brush a coat over everything. It gives me a bit more opacity, but I can still see my lines.
You have 2 patterns up of the bold tulip?
Both of those, it's one pattern, both designs are in it. So instructions for both of those, the red one and the white, are in that pattern.
Oh, it's the same pattern.
It's the same pattern, but it has instructions for both red and white.
I was gonna go see if it was a glitch.
Nope. So you might see this.
Robin, you can subscribe for free if you haven't already. You can join the private membership for $30 Canadian. It's worth it.
Or it'll have this one. So it has both of those designs included in the pattern, which it's the same design, it's just a different color palette for each one.
Yeah. So when you go to the YouTube channel, you'll see 2 buttons. One will say join, one will say subscribe. If you click the red subscribe one, it's completely free. You'll get notifications when we go live and when new videos come up.
Yep.
If you click join, it'll take you to a payment option. That's how you get into the membership program.
Yep. There we go. Look at that. White tulip.
Oh, white tulip.
So I'm going to dry this real quick. I think what appeals to me about this particular piece the most, I mean, I love tulips. They're a wonderful flower to paint. They're always so interesting. They're never look exactly the same. There's so many different varieties. It's crazy.
Oh, Linda's family both not mine.
I know. I sent her a refund yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She bought both, not realizing that they were the same pattern. But yeah, I sent her a refund.
Since you will be adding highlights and shadows, why are you being careful painting the white?
I just want a fairly uniform surface. I also want to be able to see where each of the petals begins or ends. I'm kind of funny that way. I like that little space. Now, our shading color for this tulip is Bahama Blue. I love me some Bahama Blue. So I chose Bahama Blue because it actually matches up quite nicely with the color in the background on this paper. So this is my shading color.
Okay.
And
we're gonna lose audio here in a second.
okay.
Give me.
He's gonna fix something.
No, I just had a techie.
You had he had an epiphany.
Techie brain fart.
Ah.
So we're gonna lose audio in 3, 2. Or not.
Did we lose it?
I'm confused.
Janet, I love how the closed caption is changing some of your words. Yeah, me and autocorrect do not have the best relationship.
Okay. Not quite there yet.
No.
Enable device. Disable device. Enable device. Disable device. Okay. And boom. We should be good.
So,
yeah,
I've got a nice little 1/2 inch.
You're back. Don't click the link that the Russian man put in the.
There. So I'm going to shade into the throat of this flower to about here with just, I won't call it a shadow or maybe, but it's a little bit of Bahama Blue, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. And I do like that little bit in there. And I'm floating underneath that little flip over. And then I'm going to pull some of that blue down here. I have a little bit of glaze. And all I'm doing is just pulling that color down a little bit. And then I'm going to do the same thing in here.
Control is back.
So this is my shading color, and I'm walking this color out quite a bit.
Closed caption gives a whole new meaning to what's going on sometimes.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
So that little bit of Bahama Blue actually shapes this flower very quickly. And I do love this color. So all of those little shading areas underneath the turnovers and the bends and the twists in those petals is just done with a little bit of that Bahama blue. And it's going to look very blue for a while. And that's okay.
I'm sorry, coming in late. Just heard that there's a sale going on your website. May I ask what the sale is?
We have all of our print patterns, meaning the ones that are actual hard copies, are on sale. They're 50% off. So all you have to do is enter the coupon code Happy Birthday, and it will automatically deduct that pricing, or give you the discount, I should say. Geez, that was a hard way to say that.
That's the way you're going around it.
I know. And that one runs until Monday. And then on Monday, we'll have another sale for you. So I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to
I'm going to spin the wheel.
take advantage. Oh, Renee's going to spin the wheel.
Boo-doo. Spinning wheel.
So I know on camera this looks, there, watching the wheel. This looks a little darker, but that's okay.
There you go. Susan Welshmeyers?
Welshmeyers. Susan Welshmeyers. Okay, Susan, if you go to the website on the homepage, there's a little speech bubble in the lower right-hand corner of the website. And you can click on that and send us your shipping information. We'd appreciate it. That way we can get your set of Dynasty Microns out to you on Monday's mail.
There we go. And cool. And Tracy, what are you Googling?
I'm not Googling. I'm looking for something.
It's tracymoreau.net.
Yep,
There we go.
tracymoreau.net.
I'll even bring this up. Like, boom, there's the website. Oh yeah, cookies policy, I gotta accept that. And it's right here. Yeah, click that. And then fill out your name and information.
See a little speech bubble down the corner? Right there.
Cool.
That one comes directly to me. Don't forget to put prize winner in the subject line. It just helps us locate you because we get a lot of messages. But these ones come directly to me. And so I handle those as quickly as I possibly can. But if you put prize winner in the subject line, we'll be able to get you processed quicker. So I know that on camera, this is coming across as very dark. It's actually not as dark as that in real life.
Is it coming off as dark?
Yeah, it is looking quite dark, actually.
Give me one sec. I can brighten it up.
He's going to brighten it a little bit. Brighten it.
What is it?
It's still quite dark. Still quite dark. But that's okay. We can make it work. Yeah, I'm just looking for a specific photograph. I just wanted something a little more accurate, I guess. So I've got my blue in place, and now I need to pull in a little bit of yellow. The color that I used, I do believe, is a little bit of Sunny Day. Could be Cad Yellow. I haven't got the pattern. I'm a big fan of saffron yellow, this color here. So I'm going to use a little bit of that. This one's a little more transparent, and I can keep pretty good control of this yellow. So I want a nice bright throat in our tulip. So I'm just going to bring a float, a nice little, well, float's not an accurate word. I'm going to say a wash.
In the coupon box, type Canada in all caps.
That's for the Canadian customers, yeah.
Would that work with birthday?
No, it doesn't. You can only use one coupon code at a time. So the discount for the happy birthday is better than the Canada code. So if you want the 50% off, use the happy birthday one.
Yeah. But if you're not Canadian, you can't use the Canadian code.
Yeah.
You can't.
It won't work for them anyway.
It won't work for anyway.
Because it's based on their postal code.
Not zip code.
Not zip code. So I've got a little bit of yellow down in here. I want that little glow in the center of the flower, so I put a float of that. I'm using saffron in here.
Well, congratulations.
A little bit of cad yellow will do the job.
Congratulations.
For what?
5,100.
5,100. Awesome sauce. Thanks, guys. We hit the 5,100 subscribers on our channel. Today on YouTube. That's awesome sauce. Thank you. Okay, so I have managed to muck this up. There we go.
Settings.
So you see what I did there? Just completely messed that up. But
Oh, yeah.
so I'm going to dry this. Now we're going to have to start separating and shading these petals.
There you go.
And I'm going to do that with some asphaltum because it's my favorite shading color. Susan Malone.
The only people who can post links are Linda Safranco, Jessica Killeran, Sheila Landry,
Sandy McTeer.
Sandy McTeer, and Deb.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Nobody else can post a link in the chat.
Yep.
So hopefully our
Little
Russian
friend.
trolls are. I
So-
forgot to click a little check mark that says block links.
Ah. So I've got a little asphaltum in my brush. I thin it out quite a bit, so I'm not using this color full strength. I want it nice and transparent. So we're going to start separating these petals. Now I'm going to start with the one in the back here, and it's a light float of asphaltum over top of that blue and down into the throat. Oops. I overshot the runway.
Yes, Sheila, that means you can self-promote if you want.
If she ever did, I would probably drop dead.
Just don't spam it. That's all we're asking.
Just don't spam it.
I don't want to see your website come up like 900 times.
I don't think it's in her anyway, to be honest. So I have to fix something right away because I hooped this.
Jessica Killer. I have to rant.
Oh.
I love my husband. I love that he puts dishes away. But wow, these cupboards look awful.
Oh my gosh. It reminded me of something I read this morning that it struck me so funny. I'm getting the biggest kick out of this term, weaponized incompetence.
Weaponized incompetence.
if I do something badly enough, she'll never ask me to do it again.
It's true. Sheila, I don't do that. You know that.
I know.
I'm a bad businesswoman. And if you are looking for Sheila's website, it is in the description.
Yep.
I think it's the first one.
Yep.
Just click it, take you straight to her website, and get all sorts of goodies.
Yep. Tollpaintingdesigns.com. If you're looking for truly unique and great quality surfaces, then you have to go check out Sheila's website. There. Shameless plug for you, Sheila. You won't do it yourself, so.
We'll do it for you.
I adore her. Same with Sandy. Sandy would never, like, she's just so funny. She does not want to step on anybody's toes. I adore her. So it's, I shamelessly plug my friends.
Is Sheila back to work? Yes,
she is.
Tirelessly.
Yep, endlessly. Now, when I'm floating in here and doing these little tight, you notice that it's not crisp and clean. It's not absolutely perfect. And the reason I don't really worry about it too much is because there will come a time where I'm going to clean up all of those edges where, those things that aren't perhaps as tight and tiny and sharp as they could be. They will be by the time I'm finished. So I'm more concerned with just getting the right value in than I am in creating an absolutely perfect shadow. I do, however, this is driving me crazy. This brush has got a split in it. It happens.
I think it's oversaturated now. The blues are really blue and the whites are really white.
Oh, yes. But it's really not as dark as it seems on there. But again, I'm using a very light touch.
I think it's oversaturated. Give me a second. Saturation. It's actually not oversaturated. Now it's oversaturated.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, you should see it for a little bit. That's oversaturated.
Whoa, that's oversaturated.
This is not.
And you can see my scars show up under camera.
Yeah. That's why I try to mitigate the...
Here we go. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, no, there's still a few showing, but whatever. So...
Best I can do without losing color.
That's okay. It's all good.
I stick my split brushes in boiling water.
Yeah, this one has just got a... I don't know if it's something wonky with the actual structure of the brush or what. It's nearly
She
new.
looks burned. Well, funny thing. She was burned.
No, if you... I don't know if you can see that on the camera. Do you see the... Yeah, you can a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you see what looks like white spots everywhere? They look like pinpricks. There's some here,
Yeah.
whatnot, across the knuckles, and you can see them all over my hands. Those are,
Oh, both hands too.
yeah, but those are scars from burns. I had an accident with the tea kettle. And
An old element.
yeah, an old, you remember this, well, not remember, as in you can still buy them, stoves with the ring elements. I had an antique tea kettle that I still used. I loved it. And I was making a pot of tea and talking to number one son here.
Hi.
And got sort of involved in the conversation, but I hadn't really filled the tea kettle. And then I realized that there wasn't enough water in it. And I took it off the stove and went over to the sink. And when I took the lid off, I turned to talk to my son for a second. And when I turned and took that lid off, what water was left in it instantly evaporated. And it was an old-fashioned enamel style tea kettle, so it stayed extremely hot. And then I turned and I put the kettle underneath the tap, and I turned on the water, and it flashed over. And instantly I had deep tissue, 2nd and 3rd degree burns.
Yeah, she had 2nd and 3rd degree steam burns.
Steam burns on my right hand and almost to my elbow. So, yeah. So it's funny that we noticed that the other day when we were trying to adjust the color on it. And he said it was funny that we had these dots on there, and then we both realized that it was the scars from the burns. Most of the time you can't see them. We can see them because we know they're there, but they do. They show up as white spots on the camera. And you can see it on my little finger there where it's white on the inside here and then darker on the outside. Most of the fingers have been, yeah, so.
Needless to say, she now uses an electric kettle.
Yes, I use an electric kettle now.
Do you still have that kettle?
No.
No, you threw that out.
Yeah. I didn't throw it out. Your dad threw it out.
Right.
Because I loved that kettle. But yes.
Oh my God, how painful.
Yes.
Second and 1st degrees were very painful to her.
Yeah, the 3rd degree didn't feel a thing.
She didn't feel a thing on the 3rd degree burns.
Yeah, because I had done enough nerve damage that you couldn't feel anything anyway, so.
I think the worst part was we wrapped her hands.
Yeah.
Before we got to the hospital, but that was to make sure you didn't get infected.
Yeah. And that was painful, but.
And that was, what, 3 months of no painting?
Closer to 5.
Yeah, 3 to 5 months.
Before I could use my fingers without any difficulty. I mean, I had dressings on at 3 months, so. Yeah. It was a mess. It was a mess.
And it took you another couple months to start painting again.
Yeah, because all of the skin was tight and yeah, it was a mess. Don't ever want to do that again.
That's why she uses an electric kettle.
That's why I use an electric kettle. And my hands are really sensitive to temperature. That I
Keith
did.
says I'm plotting.
Who's plotting?
Sheila.
Oh.
A friend of ours was in an elevator when someone decided to have fun behind him. Set his back pocket on fire with a lighter.
That's such a stupid stunt. There's a lot of things that I would never want to have happen to me again. I am absolutely terrified of ever being burned again because it's just the most excruciating thing.
No problem cutting herself though.
Oh, I can cut myself, but I've cut myself a million times, but a cut doesn't hurt like a burn does. I'm sorry, but
give you $1,300 worth of kitchen knives, and
first
thing you do is nearly cut the tip of your finger.
So
these are great.
Yep, zink. Oops. Don't worry about it. It'll glue back on. So I just continue adding really soft layers of asphaltum. And one of the things I want you to notice is that when you put these thin transparent layers of asphaltum over top of that blue, you get a soft green cast. It's one of the colors that I love using. I love this color combination for white flowers. I like, it gives it a nice soft feel, but it does look a little, when you look at it, it's a little ragged looking, but there's a way to clean that up, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So I'm going to grab a color that I rarely use.
Is it a pink?
No, it's titanium white.
Oh. And after you're done showing that, there's some people on Facebook that would like a lesson in floating.
Okay, I can do that. Well, why don't we combine the two?
Can you do it?
I can.
Oh, look at you. You're a teacher.
It's like, who knew? Okay, I'm going
Not like you
to.
do this for a living, right?
Yeah, I know. I'm going to move that off to the side for a second. Now, when it comes to floating, of course, it's white paint. Hello. Jeez. Lights are on, nobody's home.
Yeah.
So when it comes to loading a brush for floating, brush needs to be really wet. You need to have a lot of water in your brush. Not so much that it's drippy, not so much that it's going to run out of the brush. Like I should be able to do this without splattering water anywhere. A really helpful tip, and I use a cellulose kitchen sponge. That's one of my favorite. Just a wet kitchen sponge.
You want one?
Yeah, if you don't mind.
Sure.
It's a great way for learning how to get the right balance of moisture in your brush, which is exactly what is most important when it comes to floating color. You need to get the right amount of moisture in your brush. And there's a couple of different ways you can do that. I know for years we were taught to use paper towel, dip your brush in the water, blot it on a piece of paper towel. The problem with having wet paper is that it often will pull too much moisture out of the brush. Dry paper is going to suck all the moisture out. So here's my tip. I have a wet sponge. It's not dripping wet. It's not running out. It's just moist. So it's been wet and then wrung out so that it's just wet to the touch. Get your brush wet. Let it soak in that water. So I've got water in my brush, but there's way too much water in it. So I'm going to touch my wet brush to the surface of that wet sponge, and it draws off just enough moisture. So then I can pick up my color on the tip of my brush, whether it's a flat, and then you can move the brush back and forth. It's very important that you do this. I see people do this. You're only putting paint in one side of the brush. It has to go back and forth, and this will help you load the brush. The other thing is when I put that little bit of paint on the tip and I do this and I go back and forth, if I stay in the same spot, that brush paint does not travel through my brush. So I need to move my brush forward a little bit. So I'm walking into that stroke that I made, and then I walk backwards. So it goes toward it, and then I go the other way. So what you end up with is this. You get a nice load of paint throughout the brush, darkest value at the toe of the brush, and then it gradually fades out as it heads towards the heel. That's how you get a good load on your brush. Just like that. So then I can go to my painted piece and I can do a shadow like this. This is how you get that nice gradient, that soft gradient. It's all in how you get that moisture in your brush. So now I've got a nice soft float. And if you've got the right amount of moisture in your brush, you can paint for a long time. The other trick, when you're floating, don't use just the point of the brush. You went to all this work to get that color throughout the brush. Don't use it up on the point. Get the whole chisel edge of that brush on the surface. And then you'll get that nice fluid float. That's how you float.
Dunk your hand sanitizer in white?
No, that's my spray bottle. So, just to reiterate, I'm going to do this with my titanium white. So get that brush nice and wet. I'm going to come over to my sponge, touch it, both sides of the brush. So I'm pulling the same amount of liquid out of both sides. I'm going to pick up my brush on the paint, on the toe of the brush, and I'm going to blend on the surface. Walk in, back and forth, and then walk out. So now I have white paint in my brush. And I'm going to come to the edge of my petal. And I'm going to put a nice bright highlight on the edge of my tulip. Whole chisel edge on that surface. If you've got a nice gradient of color, that whole chisel edge on that surface. Takes a little bit of practice, but it makes a world of difference to your painted piece when you get that right. Now, I use a 1/2 inch most of the time. Little tiny areas, consider using something a little smaller. But watch. On the chisel edge, point right to the edge of the flower, whole chisel edge right on the surface. That sponge technique works very well. It will help you get that right amount of fluid in the brush. And there will come a time where you know the minute you put your brush on the surface whether or not you've got the right amount of liquid in there. You will know just by the way the brush feels and how it responds when you're working. So that highlight that I'm putting at the outside edge, I'm using a little titanium white. It's not going to be a really stark change, not right away.
You have such a great community.
We do.
You're helping each other out.
So that cellulose sponge is just, the ones with the scrubby thing. Can't remember the brand name.
Doesn't matter.
Any dollar store, as long as it's cellulose, not one of those plastic sponges, but you need a good cellulose sponge. For the life of me. I think it's a Velita. I think.
Dollar store, Costco.
Yeah, just a good quality kitchen sponge will do the job. So that's how you do your highlights. Now, I do not do my highlights in one go. You're going to take a couple of layers. And the reason I do this in a couple of layers is that one, builds up the highlight, but it also, that lighter value, that more translucent part that's at the back of the brush, overlaps with all of that shading that you've done and gives you a nice soft, it sort of diffuses that. So it makes things really, really pretty. Nice crisp edges. Get that whole chisel edge on the brush, on the surface. Lay it down, get that float in there.
And those of you on Facebook, you guys can come over to YouTube and check out all the other videos. I think we got like something 70 or so.
Yeah, there's 70 or so videos up there. Yeah. There's lots of stuff to peruse through if you've got a couple of days.
Pretty much every pattern on tracymoreau.net, whether it's e-pattern or even printed pattern,
yeah,
they pretty much all of them have a video associated with it. I don't know if you've been adding links to your patterns for the videos.
No.
No.
We have the website up there. So I've got a couple of spots here where I'm not super happy with, like, to me this just looks a little harsh. So I'm going to thin out a little bit of warm white. I just want to soften this a little bit because it's just not real pretty, I don't think. So I just want to diffuse a little, just to soften it in the middle. And now I'm going to come down in here and it's time to start building the center of our flower. So I'm going to grab my rigger and some antique green, because I love me some antique green. This is an older pattern. I taught this a few years ago. I want to say Oklahoma, but I'm not absolutely sure. I think it was Oklahoma. So I'm going to use a little antique green to fill in this green section.
OKC?
OKC. And then I'm going to, while I have that green out, I'm also going to do the stem and this leaf.
Is that a wash or straight paint?
This is just straight paint. I want a nice base coat in here.
You're covering up that rose gold though.
Yeah, a little bit.
No. It's all good.
This is not a complex piece. You do need to take a little bit of time with it, though.
Cool. We just hit the 2-hour mark.
Cool.
Sorry about that.
So, yeah, it's white is very much like black. Putting black on something is terrifying. Putting white on something is terrifying. Putting another color over top of white is terrifying. But it's just paint. Yeah, I think my next big expenditure is a new microphone.
Microphones. Microphones.
Microphones. One for you, one for me. So I'm using antique green, and again, I am using my, painting it in each of the spaces and leaving a small gap between, because that, I just like how that works.
Hey, at least we didn't have to buy any new tripods.
That's true.
Hell, there's a tripod here that's older than me.
The one we're using is older than you.
And there's this one. I think we got this one for you when you were doing photo shoots for your painted works.
Mm-hmm. And if you haven't figured it out, antique green is my go-to green. I use it for
I can't see that.
almost everything. It's my favorite green.
There you
Oops.
go.
It's my favorite green. I use it for everything. I love this color. So, antique green. I generally...
That's antique green?
It's antique green. I know, it looks brown on camera. Don't know why.
Why does it look brown?
I don't know.
Is the...
You're the guy running the camera.
Alright, let's find out why it's green. Why the green is brown.
Why the green is brown.
Let's have a peek. Is there a filter on this? Is there... No, there's no filter on it. Okay. Is there a filter on this one?
He likes these little mysteries.
There's a filter on this one. Oh man, is that ever bright now?
Oh, there we go. Look at that. That's closer.
I'm gonna bring brightness down and bring contrast down a bit. Friggin', why does it add filters to everything?
I don't know. Again, you're the camera guy. I just do the paint stuff.
There you go.
And I just got green paint on my pedal.
Yeah.
It is a gasp. Because now I gotta fix it. Very frustrating. That's the nice thing. It's just paint. Put it on there, you can fix it.
That still looks brown.
It looks green on camera. Looks nice and green on camera. But it's a muddy brown green, so...
What is going on? 1 second, you want...
Okay, so I've got some green on there. Now I'm going to be using a little bit of plantation pine.
Is that your stomach?
Yep. My tummy is talking. So I'm going to use, I've got a little bit of Matcha Green, I think. I have Matcha Green. So I'm going to put a little of this on my palette.
Oh my god.
He's playing with the colors.
Yeah.
So I'm switching to a smaller brush for this, just because it's going to give me a little bit more control, and I'm going to dry this paint. And there's a spot on my tulip that I need to fix, because it's going to bug me. There we go.
It still looks brown.
Okay, so I'm going to, I switched to a 3/8 angled shaver, 5/8? 3/8. 3/8 angled shader, and we're going to put some highlights on our leaf. I'm going to do like a chisel blended technique for this, which means I'm going to load my brush as if I'm going to float. And then I'm going to come to the edge of my leaf here, and I'm going to tap and pull.
There. That's the best I can do for now. I'm gonna reset that camera.
Yeah.
Find out why it keeps adding filters when I don't want it to add filters.
So I'm just tapping in a little highlight on the edge of this leaf. So I've loaded my brush with Matcha Green, and I've blended as if I'm going to float.
That's Matcha Green.
It's Matcha Green.
It looks orange. Let's see it on your palette.
It's right here.
Oh, okay, I can't see it.
You're looking at saffron yellow.
Oh, okay. That would make sense why that looks orange.
It would. So it's just a tap and pull, and this just creates a little texture at the edges of the leaf. And I'm going to do the same thing down here. And you'll notice that I'm pulling it back following the shape of that leaf.
Can I do a close-up? Yeah. Okay, watch this. I broke it. Crap. That's I think that's as close as I can get it.
Yep.
As long as she doesn't move it, we're good. Okay, no, it looks green now.
So when I do this, it's just a tap and pull. So I'm just creating a little bit of texture at the edge, and it also sets the direction. So I'm going at a bit of an angle. So I have an angle going here and an angle there.
Why is the video stopping all the time? Could be your internet connection. Could be a buffering. Could be multitude of things.
Yep. Could be Facebook,
Could
if that's
be
where you
Facebook.
are. Yep.
Could be YouTube.
So again, I'm just putting a tap and pull until I get a bright enough highlight to suit me. I want it brighter at the edge, and then I kind of want it to fade out a little bit as it goes back. So sometimes I've got to pick up a little more paint so that I've got that brighter edge.
Excuse me.
Certainly.
I was going to say something, but that came out.
So once I've established that texture, I'm going to pick up my brush, and I'm going to rinse this out now. And I'm going to add a shadow to the back side of this. Where's my brush? There it is. I want to put a shadow on the back of this leaf. So I'm going to dry that so I don't end up wiping it all off.
So it looks perfect now. Don't touch anything else from there.
Yeah. Leave it alone.
Good to know. It
Good
still
to
looks
know.
brown on my monitor, so
Nope, looks good on
okay.
here.
If it looks good,
Yep.
it looks good.
So I'm loading my brush with a little plantation pine or sap green or black green, whatever you have, whatever shading color. And I'm going to put a shadow on the back of this
can't see
leaf.
There you go.
So this part of the leaf is furthest away from the light, so I'm going to put a nice little shadow up the back side of that leaf. And I may have to do it again just to deepen it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other edge inside the leaf. It's going to get that float of that plantation pine.
Give it some depth. It's the word of the day. Depth. I don't know. What is the word of the day? Let's find out.
I don't know, I didn't look today.
Merriam-Webster says
Layman.
layman. Really?
You're underwhelmed, I can tell.
All things.
Yep, layman.
Layman. Okay. Oh, layman as a noun.
Yeah. Ugh,
Oh, cool.
I messed that up.
Layman as a noun.
Yeah. So we need a vein down the center of this leaf on the inside. And I want this to sort of follow the shape of that leaf. So it's not going to be a straight line. In the original photograph, that was the one thing that drove me crazy about the original piece, is that shadow down the center vein was almost perfectly straight. Drove me nuts. It did not follow the shape or the curve of that leaf. So I needed to fix it. So I fixed it. And I'm going to put a nice little shadow in here. Now, the nice part about this is that you can continuously adjust all of these shadows until you get where you want to be.
Actually, I don't think she's using media fluids at all.
Nope, these are Americana. You could use fluid acrylics easily enough. So I've got a nice deep shadow in there, although it's not the prettiest one. I'm going to switch back to my 3/8. So the stem is going to get a highlight as well. Nice little highlight of that matcha green. And I'm going to come in just a little from the edge of that stem. Just a scooch. Holy Moses, did I mess that up? Honestly.
Today is not the day to paint.
I just, oh, good gravy, Marie. There. Okay, let's try that again. I actually ended up getting paint on the heel of the brush on the way out. Okay, let's try this again. So float down the left side of the stem.
Big boom.
Boom. And I'm coming in just like a millimeter in from the edge of the stem.
Don't want to try any neons today?
I might. I might.
Those really make things pop.
Yeah, they do. I love those.
Using the neon as a highlighting color.
Yep. I love
Well,
neons.
especially if you're layering
Yep.
those other colors first, and then you hit it with the neons.
Yep.
Boom! What type of paints is she using?
These are just regular Americanas, the Decor Americana. So I'm just tweaking my shadows because I have royally pooched a couple of them.
Thank you for messing up so much today. It makes me feel better.
You know what? I mean, there's days where none of us, I can't paint a straight line. There's days when I can't float worth a tinker's dam.
I was about to say.
Uh-huh.
We float in between PG and PG-13.
Yeah.
It's a good place to be.
Yeah. And occasionally, if things really go south, but not very often. We were discussing that the other day, that you really have to piss me off to make me swear. And if I start swearing and dropping F-bombs, people just run for the hills. So, okay, I'm happier now. I got where I wanted to be. Oh no, I'm still pulling color off. Okay, so this is going to tell you something. There comes a point when you're putzing with something that there's so much liquid on the surface that the paint's not sticking anymore. And that's what I've hit right here. I've got a bald spot right in the middle of this shadow. And it's because I wouldn't leave it alone while the paint was wet. Because I'm impatient.
Life happens.
Life happens, exactly. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of my Matcha Green.
Nice.
Let me see if I can blend that out a bit more. There we go. And I'm going to float over top of my edge. Remember where I did all that chisel blending? It created the texture, but now I want to really soften that. So and clean up edges and whatnot. So I'm just putting a light float of Matcha Green over it. Because, I'm batting 1,000 today.
Walk away from the brush.
Put down the brush and back away.
Today is not the day. Oh, Jackson's learned the F-bomb.
Oh, isn't that lovely?
Little Jackson's all grown up now.
There is a lady on TikTok that's got a wee little girl. I think she's about 3 or 4.
Is that the one that goes, I'm effing cute?
I'm like, oh my gosh.
I love that one.
It's just okay.
Is that a new color?
Matcha Green came out a couple of years ago. And it's an odd green. It's got a high white content. It looks very yellow-green when you first put it on the palette. And then when you start working with it, you realize that it's a bit more opaque than a yellow-green. And it's actually quite a nice white green. It's great for highlighting.
How old is Jackson?
Jackson's, what, going to be 2 in March?
Already?
Already, yes.
Wow.
He's a cute little devil.
Takes after Dad.
Oh, yes. Yes, he does take after Devin.
Does he?
Oh, yeah. He even looks like him.
Oh, no.
He's a cute little bugger, though. He is just adorable.
See, we do duplicate through osmosis. Or no, that's completely wrong.
Yes, it is.
We duplicate through mitosis. That's the word. Mitosis, not osmosis.
So I'm just crisping up my shadows a little bit, and then I'm fixing that spot where I got a little float happy. And now I'm going to put my highlight in on this side so it'll clean up the mess that I made. Because, you know,
The third?
oh my gosh. There we go.
You good?
Yeah.
Sure.
No.
I'm not etching bets.
I just have, I don't know, I cannot get that highlight right today. Hello. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to put a little color in there to get it where it needs to go. All right. No swearing on television, right?
No. Oh, that's not TV. This is the internet.
I know. No swear. No
You
swearing.
see some of the stuff they put on the internet?
I know. But that's not me.
No, that's not you. That's true.
There's no swearing in
Kudos
painting.
to you. I could never talk and paint on camera like you. It took some doing.
It took some doing because I have a tendency to. It's one thing when you're doing a product demo because technically you're not really painting it, and you're not having to concentrate on it because you're just talking about the product and what it does and how it does it and whatnot. But when you're painting and talking about technique, you're having to use the same part of your brain. And that's can be a bit challenging. So yeah, it took a little bit of practice. You know, I would find myself, I would stop talking while I was painting. And
It took a kitchen table filled with paint and other like-minded ladies
yeah,
for you to find the knack of
yeah,
being able to paint and talk at the same time.
Yeah, it took, you know, I've been teaching for years, but it took a long time to sort of get the knack of explaining while I was doing. Oh my gosh. What is it with me today? Okay, let's try this again, Trace.
Tap and pull, tap and pull.
Tap and pull. Jeez Louise. Okay, there we go.
See, I can shoot and teach at the same time.
Well,
That I can do. But I've got a lot of practice doing that.
yeah, it does take practice, doesn't it? There we go. Okay, I'm a happier camper now that I've got this highlight sorted out. Jeez Louise. Okay, so now I have to put a shadow down the back side of this stem. Turn it around again.
At least you know how to fix things. When I have bad painting days, I usually end up sanding everything off and starting over. Many of my UFOs are because of bad painting.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that goes for all of us. But I'll tell you something. Whenever you're sitting at your painting table and you're working on something and you get it to where you're really happy and you don't want to mess it up, put a coat of this over top of it.
Yeah, I gotta move.
And then if at any time that you're unhappy with something that you've done, you can easily just take a baby wipe or a Q-tip and you can wipe it off without damaging everything that you've already done. This acts as a protective barrier between your layers. So you can put a coat of matte medium on. So if I'm happy with this as it is and I don't want to mess it up any further, I'll put a coat of matte medium over top of it. And then I can come back to it afterwards and I can float over top or add highlights or add shadows. And if I mess them up, like I have done so much on this one today, I can just wipe it off with a Q-tip or with a baby wipe without damaging everything that I've already accomplished.
Cindy, it's comforting to know even the best have bad days.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You should see her head to...
I have days where I just get so frustrated. You know, things aren't necessarily going in the direction that I want them to go, or, you know, a float isn't working the way I want it to, or color isn't doing what I want it to do. I mean, there's a reason why I paint things sometimes 3, 4, 5 times, because it doesn't get where I want it to go. And sometimes it'll be the composition of a design. Sometimes it'll be something else. Sometimes it'll be like this one today, getting all the floats and the highlights in the way I want them to.
Oh.
You just putz with them until you get it right.
Diane asks, what's the difference in matte medium and clear glazing medium to use as a barrier?
Clear glazing medium is intended to act like a layer. A matte medium is used to change, it changes the sheen level. So if I put a coat of matte medium over all of this, I'm going to get one uniform sheen over everything. And when it dries and cures, it's a protective barrier. A glazing medium you can use as well, but it's not quite as impervious as this. So you always run the risk of pulling it off.
Matte medium isn't opaque?
No, it's transparent. Dries perfectly clear. Oops. There we go. Oh, my stars and garters. Now, I want a brighter highlight on the edge of this. So I'm going to pick up a little bit of warm white on my brush. And I'm going to blend, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that Matcha Green to it to make a lighter value green. And sweet mother of Moses.
How's your day going?
Too much water in my brush. There we go. Still too much water. Jeez. Okay.
You good?
I am now. So I've got a little bit of warm white and a little bit of, and seeing that's almost too bright. It is too bright.
Will the matte medium dull the extreme sheen in the background? No.
No, doesn't really affect it. It'll take a little of it out, but doesn't kill it altogether.
Yeah, because that extreme sheen's actually got metallic in it.
Yeah, it's a very bright.
It's like a little flake.
Yeah. Okay, so now I'm feeling better. I've got more control over my brush now than I did. So I just wanted to pop in a brighter highlight in a few places along the edge of this leaf. And you might notice that, see where that curve is on the edge of that leaf? That's where I'm putting my highlight. And I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to brighten that highlight a little bit.
Boom. Look at that.
And I'm just adding a little bit here and there. I don't want a ton of it. It's just to add a little extra light. And I'm a happier camper now.
Yay, time to do the butterfly.
Yep.
Or actually, no, you're not doing a stamen or anything in the...
In the center, we're going to talk about that next. And this is going to work up really quick. We've got some yellow on our palette, and I've got a little bit of that plantation pine. I'm going to come down in here and shade the base, the bottom of this green
Moving it.
thing right here.
Stop moving the base because I have to adjust.
Just let me turn it because I'm looking at it here. So
Yeah, that's also 30 seconds behind.
I know. So I'm just putting a little shadow in here just to set that center back a little bit. And then I'm going to grab my rigger, if I can find it. Nope.
How come when I do exactly like you, it's crap?
Oh.
Wow.
So I'm picking up a little.
You're not going to answer that?
I am not.
Practice.
Practice, practice, practice. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So in the center of this flower, I want to put a little bit of, a nice little bit of texture in there. And I'm going to do that with a few dots of the saffron. And I'm going to come up past the edge of this centerpiece, just a little bit. That saffron is a little more transparent, so it's not going to be a really solid dot.
What in the heck? Oh, you said more control with all the crazy in the house. In this house, I thought you said now that I have birth control. Okay.
No. I have menopause. I don't need birth control. So I use just a few little dots in the center, right there, just to add a little texture.
I have never known you to be speechless.
Yeah, I wasn't speechless, merely guarded.
Guarded.
Guarded. I'm going to treat
You can
that
tell
one
she's
with
from the East Coast the way she says guarded.
guarded. So remember the color of this flower? We want our butterfly to match that. So I'm going to pull a little bit of Bahama blue. And I'm going to float the bottom section of those white bits.
For S's and G's, you should do an entire class as a Bretner.
As a Bretner.
It'd be hilarious. Nobody would understand you.
No, they wouldn't.
Except Bretners.
Except Bretners.
Yeah.
And even capers.
Now, caper is what you put on fish.
No, capers are from Cape Breton.
Is that what they're called?
Yes,
They're
capers.
called capers?
Yeah.
Okay. I call them Bretners, but that made sense. Capers is what you put on fish.
No, they're capers. Just like folks from Halifax are called blue nosers. Nova Scotians are called blue nosers. So all of that, those little white segments in there are going to get a float of blue, Bahama blue. All those little pieces are going to get just at the end. We want the white to stay at the outer edges. So neatness doesn't really count for this part, but we just want them to be blue, like so. I love this part. I think they're fun. This part's easy. So I'm going to, I think that's good enough. So I've got, where's my rigger? I keep losing brushes today. There we go. I'm going to take my rigger and I'm going to put a little bit of warm white right here. I'm just going to gently go around the outside edge of these wings with a little line of warm white. Just like that. Neatness doesn't really count for this. We're going to do a little bit of work on these. So I just want to see a little bit of warm white right there. And just like that. And I want to brighten these little bits right here. So I'm going to come back in with a little bit of warm white and fill those in a little more solid. Just a couple of spots here I'm not happy with, so.
I missed something.
What did you miss? And the thing about doing it this way is I don't really worry too much about getting these absolutely perfect because our black is going to hide a lot of this little imperfections. So I'm going to dry this, and then I'm going to come at this again with a little float of Bahama Blue. Like that.
Becca Buckner, that's perfect. That is perfect.
Did you make a new friend?
Yeah, I love her attitude. I have this one friend that always has something to say about what I paint that is negative.
Oh no!
I keep quarters in my pocket now and flip one at her every time and tell her to call someone and give us a shit. I like it.
Like, you know what? Quite honestly, the only opinion that should ever matter to you about your artwork is your own.
Yep.
If you're happy with it, that's the only thing that matters. What somebody else thinks of you is none of your business.
Can you tell me what brush that is?
Which one? The silver-handled one?
The rigger or...
This one, I have two brushes in my hand. So this one is a number 2 faux squirrel rigger. It looks like a liner. It isn't. If you have a look at it, it actually has a flat chisel edge like a shader. And so this is what I use for doing lettering. I use it for so many different things. And then this one is a 3/8 black gold angled shader. Black gold angled shaders and faux squirrel angled shaders are my go-to for everything. So this is where I get to grab, where is it? There it is. My baby. This one is a 10-aught. I usually use either a 10-aught or a 15-aught Dynasty Micron extra long detail liner for this. And I'm using lamp black. And I am thinning it out with a little bit of glaze medium or water. Either one will work just fine. And we're going to paint in the body.
Yeah, she'll thin her paint with either water or Joe Sonia's fast drying glaze.
Yeah, either one.
Either one.
Yeah. If you don't have the fast dry glaze, you don't need it really. It's not that important. You know, it's not that you can't do any of this without it. You can. So I'm going to fill in my butterfly. And then I'm going to start painting in all of these fine lines. Remember all of these little lines that we have in here? I'm going to fill in all the way around this. And this is where you get to clean up all of those little bobbles and wobbles and ugly bits that, you know, might have been showing.
Now, if you really ask for thoughts on something, that's a little different, but one should always be kind.
Absolutely. There's a big difference between...
You give honesty, but kindly.
Well, and there's a big difference between constructive criticism and criticism.
Constructive criticism usually has a solution attached to it.
Yeah.
Usually.
Or a suggestion.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, well, what do you think of my butterfly? Well, your butterfly, the colors are beautiful, you know? but it's a little rough at the edges, so that can be cleaned up by doing this, this, or this.
That's constructive criticism.
That's constructive criticism. And I know this sounds really hokey, but quite honestly, I have always preferred the method of balance. So when you have to give somebody a critique on something they've done, give them a solution to the problem that you're pointing out. If you can't give them a solution to the problem that you're pointing out, shut up. You know, just, there's no point. If you don't have an alternative or a solution, what is the point?
Yeah.
And any time that you give somebody a critique, it should always be balanced with something positive.
Yeah.
Always.
In the Army, we called it a poop sandwich.
Yeah. Poop sandwich, okay.
You start with the bread, which is good stuff.
The good stuff, you know, point out, okay, colors are beautiful and bright. Floats are a little rough. You can fix that by doing this, 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 or this.
That's the poop.
That's the boop. And then the bright is, overall, your piece is looking wonderful and we see lots of improvement.
There's the other slice of bread. Now you have a poop sandwich.
And that's constructive. Hitting somebody with a negative comment serves no purpose whatsoever other than to make the person feel bad. And if that's your goal, then good for you. You know, I personally don't ever want somebody to feel bad about something they've put a tremendous amount of effort into.
Helping us be better humans. I have a sticker.
And be a good human.
I'm getting a sticker.
I don't know. There's enough negativity out there without everybody adding to it. Times are tough. Be nice. Play nice in the sandbox. Share your toys. Be a nice human. Poop sandwich. I've never heard it called that. But it makes sense. Sort of. So using that nice little liner brush, look at how nice we can clean up all of these little bits and bobs and make our butterfly pretty. See? Be a nice human.
It's my sticker. Amongst all my collection of stickers.
Yeah. And that one came from the company I buy my leggings from.
Really?
Yeah, that's who sent that one. Sweet legs. I love my sweet legs. We have this fabulous company here in Canada that makes leggings. They make ladies wear in general, but they make really great leggings. And every time I get a parcel from them, there's always a sticker in the box. And one day that was the sticker. Be a nice human.
Yeah, if you can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Yeah.
Well, some people just need to be sorted out. But if somebody, particularly a friend, shows you a piece of their artwork.
I hear Renee reading but not seeing those comments. Those comments are coming from the YouTube chat.
Yeah, they're coming off of the YouTube channel.
Because we're live both on Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah.
We could actually go to more platforms than that, but those are the two most popular.
Yeah.
The other one is Twitch, but that is
So
not her realm.
yeah, not my realm. I'm not a gamer. Although there are a few artists on Twitch.
There's tons of artists on Twitch.
Yeah.
But it's more geared towards video games, fantasy, and
Yeah. So you can see that by adding that black after the fact, I know it looks rough and ragged on this side. You put it in on this side, it cleans everything up really nicely, and you get a pretty little butterfly. I like putting my black in last because it's that neutralizer. It's that thing that cleans everything up. For me. And then you just fill in those spaces.
I still want a Malinois, name him Snafu.
Who was it? One of my friends posted they got their new dog. His name is Henri.
Henri?
Henri.
Henry.
He's a French bulldog. Oh, it was your cousin, Christian.
Oh.
I was sitting there brain dead for a minute. Yep.
My cousin.
Yep.
Mom, Grammy, and aunts had that as a motto. Can't say something nice, don't say anything at all. Some people need to be told off.
Yeah. Depends on who you're talking to and why. But generally, yeah.
Usually officers. That got me in a lot of poop.
My rule of thumb is always treat people the way you would like to be treated. I know.
Oh, I can answer that question. How thin do you make the paint?
Like ink.
Or milk?
Or milk, yep. I use a lot of, because I use Joe Sonia's, I'm not really worried about compromising the integrity of the paint, because essentially I'm just adding a thin acrylic resin to it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really compromising the integrity of the paint, so all of my pigment stays where I put it. The downside to using water to thin your paint is because you're not just thinning it, you're diluting it. So.
Some people need a verbal smack.
Wow. Well, one of my favorite sayings that I have, some people just need a high five.
In the face.
In the face. With a chair.
With a chair. Yep.
I know.
Whoa, okay, tons of comments.
Renee knows me well enough to know that if somebody really, really gets on my bad side, they're going to hear about it.
Don't go to Walmart with her. No filter.
I'm not allowed to go to places like Walmart unsupervised. Because I will tell people what I think of them.
Yep.
You know, if they're behaving badly, I will tell them they're behaving badly. And the one thing I've noticed is people don't like to be called on their crap.
They are a snowflake.
Yeah. And I called a lady out at the shopping mall one year because she was visiting with a friend in the breezeway between the Walmart and the major part of the shopping center. And at that time, Walmart used to have all the bicycles and all of the large items in the breezeway.
Other reason why I'm not allowed in Walmart.
Yeah. So, and because of that, it was literally down to one lane of traffic, basically. And she chose that moment to stop and have a chinwag with someone she hadn't seen in apparently forever, because they had a lot of catching up to do.
Get the hell out of the way!
And when I realized that they weren't actually paying attention to what was going on around them, and the fact that there was a lineup of people waiting to get through, and these two were causing a bit of a traffic jam,
Gabby Gabbersons.
I reminded her gently by saying, "Excuse me," and asked her if she would take her visit off to the side or, relocate it somewhere and allow people to pass through. And she informed me that I was being rude. So I informed her that she was being an insensitive knucklehead and to move, that she wasn't the only person on the planet. So she apparently felt I embarrassed her unnecessarily, and I thought you embarrassed yourself by blocking the aisle. So, I don't know. Some people just need to be reminded of their place in the universe.
So. Oh, somebody used the term chinwag?
Chinwag. Chinwag. I use the term chinwag. I like the word chinwag. So I've got my wings painted in. We're going to add a few little details, dip dots, because I love me some dip dots.
Of course.
And I'm going to put just a few.
Wow, this is a long one today.
Yeah, well, this is a busy one. There's a lot to do. So I'm just adding a few little dip dots here and there with some warm white.
All right.
So there we go, and I think we still have one more
Yeah, I'm bringing up the
thing to give away because we're almost done. So
your website up.
I'm going to dry this while he's...
There we go. And here we go. Spin, here we go. And it lands on you, Linda Hatfield.
Linda Hatfield. Oh, it's some sauce. I like this with the spinny wheel. They get to see all the fun. So there we go. I'm drying my butterfly.
Linda.
I'm going to give my butterfly some antenna.
Yeah, I'm going to close that.
I'm going to give my butterfly some antennae.
Linda Hatfield is the winner.
So Linda, go over to tracymoreau.net, and when you get to the homepage, click on the little speech bubble down in the lower right-hand corner of the homepage, and just send us a quick message with your shipping information so that we can get your brush set out to you. PDQ, we want to get them.
And then boom, boom. Enter your email address, and then bang. You put in the subject line, prize winner.
Yep, don't forget to put prize winner in the subject line, and that way make it a whole lot easier for us to find you. So I'm going to, this is not quite dry, just don't want to smear anything. I'm going to add a shadow just to lift this little guy off of the surface a bit. I'm going to do that with a little bit of asphaltum. Not a whole lot. I just want to get a little shadow in behind here, just so that this butterfly is off the surface. So I'm going to tuck that shadow in here, and I'm coming right up to the edge of that butterfly. I really want to separate him from everything else.
Oh, there. Oh, Linda Hatfield made a comment. Oh, wow, can't believe it. Thank you. You're awesome.
Aw. So there we go. Get that little shadow in there. Now you can take this shadow in and around all over the place. It'll help lift that tulip off the surface. Little shadows in here. It also helps you crisp up a few edges. Any places where you want to define those edge of those petals a bit more.
We put prize winner wannabe and hope for the rest. Sheila. She says just kidding.
So that little shadow that you put in there is going to lift our butterfly and pull it forward. And it also, we need to get that shadow in behind that wing so that it separates it from the tulip. So I've got that in there. Now, that shadow can get quite dark, and you're okay with that. It's fine. But by putting in those shadows, it brings that floral forward. And it brings that butterfly forward. So now I'm going to add our final little thing, which is a nice little highlight on our butterfly, just to give him a little more dimension. This is going to be a float, and it's a weak one. We don't want this color too strong. And it's in 3 segments, one on the head, one on the thorax, and then one on the belly. And here I go again with the issue with the, good grief. There we go. So I've got my highlight on there.
Oh, there's Paula. Paula R.
Paula Renstall. So I'm going to grab a bigger brush. I want to deepen a couple of shadows here.
I refuse to go to Walmart until we move to a small town where everyone is so nice. Smaller towns are usually much better than
Yeah. I still don't have a whole lot of patience with.
stupid.
You know what?
Not so much stupid.
Stupid is as stupid does. I think it's just simply a lack of courtesy
Yes.
that bothers me more than anything.
I lived in Winnipeg for 20 years.
Yep.
Winnipeg.
Yeah.
It's the closest thing to Toronto.
Pretty close.
No, there's more crime, that's for sure.
Yep. So there I go.
I've spent hours in a traffic jam.
Yep.
Hours. I got stuck in traffic here in Fredericton once. It lasted 10 minutes. And I was just waiting for the traffic light to turn.
So there we go. Now, if you want to, just to add a little, to tie these 2 flowers, or the 2 flowers.
Flower?
Oh my gosh.
Bunny leaves?
Bunny leaves. I know you guys keep hearing us say the words bunny leaves.
You have to watch the video.
You have to watch the video to get it. I did a
Poppy
piece.
Spring.
Yeah, Hoppy Spring. I did that last year, and for the life of me, I could not remember to call that rabbit's ears. Ears. I kept calling them leaves. So now, anytime I get something mixed up, it's bunny leaves.
Yeah.
So, if you want to really tie this butterfly very nicely to our tulip, there we go. Take a little thin float of asphaltum and shade close to the body. That little bit of asphaltum over top of that Bahama blue turns it to a sort of a greenish cast, which matches the tulip.
Apparently you need wine.
No. What I need is
Super on. I saw the
sleep.
video. It was hilarious. Yes, it was.
So there we go. That is our bold tulip. Again, you can adjust all of these shadows as often as you want until you get exactly where you want to be.
Together. What did I just change?
I don't know. What did you just change?
I don't know. Give me a second.
Oh my goodness.
That's not what I wanted to do.
No?
Then fix that though. This one? There it is. Wow.
He can't operate that computer today, and apparently I can't float. So, oh, I got lots of pretty butterflies. Oh my goodness. I either need like a bathroom break or a cup of tea or a very big glass of wine. But that is our bold tulip for today.
I need autofocus to work here.
Oh my goodness.
Right.
So guys, thanks so much for joining us again today. We really do appreciate you coming and spending your time with us every Saturday. We have a lot of fun doing this stuff. We have a lot of fun putting things together. I have fun some days trying to figure out what we're going to paint. I haven't quite gotten back into my creative groove yet. I was really struggling this week trying to, find some time to paint because I was still catching up on business stuff and doing year end and all of that fun stuff. So I really wasn't in the groove to paint. Which obviously shows because I could not paint to save my soul today. So, but you know what? It happens to the Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it? Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay, we
I
got it. Okay. We're getting a new microphone for Saturday. If it kills me, we're getting a new microphone.
Okay.
We're not going to mess with this anymore. Where was I? Oh, yeah. Grab some tissue paper, some napkins.
Bunny leaves.
Renee by the throat. So, and just practice this. Grab some cardboard, some poster board, some scrap wood that you've got laying around, and try out a few of these fun backgrounds. You will be amazed at what you can come up with.
She's bearing her soul and no one can hear her.
Oh, what I was saying you didn't need to hear. You can have a lot of fun with just the simplest things. And if you're really feeling adventurous, grab some fabric and try it with that, because you can do some amazing things with fabric. All right. I think that is it for us for this Saturday. He's going to repeat the names of the winners today. Don't forget, hit that little speech bubble on the homepage of the website and send us your shipping information. And our winners are
Lori C.
Lori C.,
Susan Welshmeyer,
Susan Welshmeyer,
and Linda Hatfield.
and Linda Hatfield. So, ladies, congratulations. Thanks very much for joining us today. To my members, keep your eyes peeled on the download section of the website this weekend. It should be up tomorrow afternoon, and you'll get a notification when your new video goes up as well. Next week, we're painting more flowers.
Are we?
So, we are.
Are we?
We are. We're doing a Jack in the Pulpit.
There you go.
Yeah, we're doing a Jack in the Pulpit. I think you'll enjoy this one. It's a lot of fun and just some fun techniques involved in it as well. All right, guys, that's it for us this Saturday. Thank you so much for joining us, as you always do. We really do appreciate it. And please, mwah, we love you. Stay safe.
Woo-hoo.